Hello, everyone. Welcome to another NinjaOne live stream. It is April 1st, a day that bears no significance on anything that we're about to tell you. I have with me, this is day 2 of NinjaOne 8.0 week. And this time we have Luke Whitelock here. And Luke is our Director of Product Management. He is in charge of vast amounts of NinjaOne capabilities and features and products. Luke, want to give a little bit of a hello, and also you can give maybe a more detailed description of what you're working on.
Sure. Hi, everyone. Yeah, so I'm Director of Product Management here. I look after our ITSM suite of tools. So things like documentation, ticketing, PSA, asset management in the future. So yeah, it's only one thing. It's just a big thing.
Well, I mean, as you point out, though, it is true. I mean, these things, obviously, there's a lot of elements that flow together and work together and everything. But today, I understand we're going to be focusing in on, we've got you for 2 days this week, and day 2 will focus on PSA things, which a lot of people are very curious about. But day 1, we're going to be talking about documentation, device tags, which are new, a few other things, right?
Yep.
All right, perfect. And thank you. Josh points out that I typed a little too quickly. I'm Director of Community, which is just as well. All right. Well, I'm going to hand it over to you, Luke, to take it away. And folks, a lot of you, I recognize the names, Carson, as always. But if you have questions, feel free to use the chat, jump in. Feel free to interrupt Luke and really take advantage of this time that you have with him. These streams are going to be, if you were on yesterday's stream, you kind of get the gist of it. They're a little bit quicker. We're aiming for about 30 minutes. And Luke's going to walk through some of the changes that came in 8.0, which everyone should have access to now. If you find that you don't have access to anything that Luke's is going to be sharing with you today, reach out to your account manager and they'll be able to help you out there. And also Q&A, there'll be time, a little bit of time for that at the end. You have Luke captive here. You can ask him about all sorts of things of what about this? Is this coming? What's on the roadmap? And of course, you can always ask about dark mode. And I have a link for you that I'll share. All right, with that, Luke, why don't you take it away?
Sure. So yeah, there's 3 big things I want to talk to you guys today about: device tags, end user related items, and checklists. But we also did a few other smaller bits. So just go through those quickly. So the first one, we've now got support for viewing Visio documents in the knowledge base. So you could upload your Visio documents straight to the knowledge base and view those. We wanted to add edit support, but Microsoft doesn't support it for Visio documents, so we couldn't. So it's view only, unfortunately. Next thing we did, which is just a little bit of housekeeping really, is add in some new like verb noun aliases for PowerShell commands. So before it used to be things like ninja-property-get. We've just added aliases for the standard like function. So it's now you can do things like get ninja property. Just because people who use PowerShell, it's been driving me crazy since I started at Ninja. So we finally got that one fixed. And then the last of the small things is up until 8.0, you've only been able to create single page apps and service documents via the CLI. With 8.0, you can now do list of pages ones. So if you want to do like multiple different Active Directories, you can create those documents or anything which requires multiple apps and services documents to be created automatically. So let's dive into some of the actual more interesting stuff. So the first one I'm going to talk about is a small thing that we've added under end users. So notice in 7.0 we released the end user dashboard. That was just the first version of it. The plan is to iterate on that and try and get end users to really be a first-class citizen inside Ninja. So to continue on that path, we've added in related items to users. So you can now use the related item engine we've got everywhere else in documentation, relate them to devices, relate them to KB articles, relate them to anything you want. Just track that kind of thing. Once you created relations, they're all bi-directional, so you can go like straight to a device, see the end user on the relation here, jump back to it. And we've updated all of those links now for end users to go to that dashboard view instead of the like settings view that we saw before. So yeah, the plan is really just keep iterating on the end user, make that a first-class citizen in Ninja and add some cool things. So for example, in 9.0, we're going to add API endpoints for creating end users. So yeah, can end users be assigned to devices instead of in place of contacts yet? Yes, they've always been able to. So if we go to a device, in here, if we go to the settings and go to actually, oh yeah, user here. So here, this is a mix of both contacts and end users, or I haven't got any contacts in here, I don't think, but yeah, you can assign end users straight here. Once you've assigned an end user to a device, if you got back to it, or back to the end user, you then get them listed under the assigned devices here. We've got plans to make some improvements to this and make it easier to get them assigned. There is an API for that now, but yeah, we want to make that more automated in the future. Cool. So yeah, next thing that we've added is we've done an overhaul of the checklist UI. So we made working on checklists a lot easier inside Ninja now. So if we come into here, go to documentation and checklists. This was the last part of documentation we had to do a UI overhaul on. So everything is now in the new modern Ninja design and documentation. It will all support dark mode in the future once we release that. If we go to add checklist, and I'll just import one. I can import this testing one. Import that. So yeah, so you've got this table's been updated. You've got things where you can see if they're overdue, or if the due date's passed. If we go into the checklist itself, this has all been overhauled. So we have the description here, which is an expandable, what you see is what you get editor. If you go into individual tasks, we now do a full screen view. So you have the side task where you can then see the full description. So you can have like long KB articles explaining a specific step. You can come in here, you can mark things as completed. You can just cycle through the different steps and just work through them as they go. You can also do assignments and due date assignment from here. But you can also just drop back to the table and do the assignment here as well, just to make it easier if you're doing the like initial assignment and like setup of a project being tracked as a checklist, set all the due dates. And then yeah, still got the updated related items engine for that as well. Cool. So yeah, that's the checklist thing. Any questions around that?
Some good feedback.
So yeah, the goal with checklists is to slowly start integrating them more into like things like ticketing, so you'll be able to use them more for like project management and stuff in the future. So yeah, that's good. Cool. And then the big thing that I want to talk about today that we added in 8.0 is device tags. So device tags is really the ability to start doing some like manual classification of devices to give you like some easy at-hand thing, like at-hand notification about a type of device it is, some bit of information you want to know, but also use those for automations and settings throughout the platform as we expand. So this first release, we've added some basic things in for them. The goal is this isn't going to be the end state of tags. They're going to be used for much more things in the future. We're going to add them into compound conditions in the future and some other bits. But yeah, I'll talk through what we've got now. So first thing to start with is if we go into technician roles, edit a role and go to system. I think it's in system. Yep. So in system, we've got 2 permissions for tags now. The first one is tag creation. So this is going to be controlling if you can see like the admin settings of tags, add new tags, update them, create them, delete them. That will control that setting. The other one is tag assignment. So this is then the ability to view them on devices or assign them to devices or remove them from devices. So your normal text, you just give the tag assignment permissions to. Your more senior and admins, you give the full permissions to be able to carry out actions on. So once people have got permissions, if you go into library, we've got this new tags option here. This is where you can create and define your like pool of different tags. So we support doing emojis in the names. You can add a description in. And yeah, it's just pretty simple at the moment. What the goal here is going to be is we want to add in things like potentially colors, potentially permissions and things in the future, which is why we didn't want to just have like an ad hoc tag creation. We wanted to have like an actual system of creating them. We think it's going to end up being more useful in the future. In here, you can also do things like merge tags, delete tags, do a whole bunch of different things. So yeah, so once you've got tags created in your pool, you can go to a device and you can come in and say on here, I'd like to edit the tags. Come in here, add or remove tag, say, okay, this is a non-billable device. It's part of managed services. Save that. Back on the device search, what you've got is the tags column. So I think we show 4 or 5 tags, and then it will just truncate them into a list when you hover over. But in here, you can come in and modify tags as well. So if you pick a couple of them, come to edit tags, what you'll get here is a list of any tags which are shared across everything selected. So because VIP device is the only one shared between these two, that's the only one we can remove from here. You can also come in and then add tags across them all. So if we update that, that will remove that tag, add that tag to everything. When there's a conflict, we just don't show them, just so you don't end up removing tags from devices which don't have them or doing things which are like going to conflict. Yeah, so that's an easy way. You can just build up a device search, filter down to what you want, and just tag everything in there if you wanted. We've also then got the ability to start tagging things via a script. So if I come to this device, I'll kick off an automation to go and manage tags. I'll leave that running, and then I'll go show you how this works. So for now, we've added the ability to access tags via the NinjaOne CLI. So if we come into the automation library and I search for tags. So there's a few different things you can do. So I've just done a simple script which is going to check if something has paint installed, check if it has a specific program installed. And then, so the first one we got is options Ninja tag. This is going to give you a list of any of the tags which are available in the platform, just so you can do a check to make sure the tag's been created before you use it. The next one we've got is get Ninja tag. This is going to list any of the tags assigned to a device. So you can start to use tags to like filter and say, well, only if it's got this specific tag do I want to run this script on it. So you can just have that as a first check. Say, if it's got the tag, okay, go do something. If it hasn't got the tag, exit. The next bit we got is then set tag, which is going to add a tag onto a device. So in here, it's going to check if paint's installed. If it is, add the paint tag. And then the last option we got is remove Ninja tag, which again, if it's not got paint detected, we're going to remove paint. And then just do the same thing for VS Code. So if we come back then to that device, what we should hopefully have now is, so we've got VS Code picked up on the device. So it's added the VS Code tag by the CLI. So where this can then become useful is you can either use it to detect like things which are installed or detect an attribute of the device and add a tag, but you can also use it to then control automation. So this is where the power of tags is really coming into Ninja today. What we can do is say this server here, we've added the VS Code tag to it, but it does not have VS Code installed. So we want to use that tag to say, I want to tag a device with VS Code, and I want every device which has that tag to get VS Code installed. So if we come into here, what we can then do is build up a filter for this. So if we go to the tags filter, in here, we've added a bunch of options. So you can say all the tags, any selected tag, none of the tags, tags present or no tags present. So this, we want to find any device which has got the VS Code tag assigned. And then we want to come in and say, let's find software. And say contains or does not contain all of, add in VS Visual Studio Code, add that in. So this has now given us a list of devices which have the VS Code tag, but doesn't have it installed. So if we save this group and we'll call it requires VS Code. Save that. So we've now got this group, which we can use to say, okay, these are devices which should have VS Code, but don't have it at the moment. So we can then come into administration, go to tasks, do a new task, and we'll say in the targets, target it to the group, and the group is VS Code or requires VS Code. Target it to that, and then we can just queue up an automation which would say go and install VS Code. I'm not sure if I've actually got one of those. No, I don't have one of those. But yeah, you just add the automation there, and then you'd have it on a schedule of saying like repeats every hour to try and install it, because it's going to look and update when it has one. when it has been installed, it will remove it from the group and no longer be targeted. So that's a quick way you can use them today. I'll show you some more options around PSA tomorrow, so you can control doing like billable options with tags. Cool. Let me check some questions and see if I've missed anything.
Yeah, we got a few. Chris has been dropping quite a few good ones. So I'll go back up here to the top. First one's about API. Can the API automations assign tags too? You just covered some of the automation.
Sure. Yeah, so that was the next thing on my list. If we come here, we've added a whole bunch of API endpoints for tags. Go away, Windows. So yeah, we've got the ability to bulk add tags to devices, get the full list of tags, create a new tag, update a tag, delete a tag, merge tags, or just set a tag for a specific device. You'll see here how we've done at the moment. We only allow an attribute of device for setting tags. The way we built tags is it's more a framework. So the plan is to extend them to things like users, to organizations, to like any other object inside Ninja in the future, just to make them be able to be used across things. So like documentation will be like requires an update or something. You could add a tag to a document and filter on that. So yeah, there's plans to extend it in the future. This was just the very first version of it. For reading devices, we just missed being able to get them being returned with device details. So that's going to come in 9.0. But with being able to filter by devices, we did get that in. So using the device filter one, I'm just working on getting this documentation updated, but it works the same way as device ID. You just use tag ID instead of device ID, and then you can do equals, has, in, etc. All those operators to filter it in the API.
Awesome. All right. Let's see here. We got, oh yes. David chimed in. This is a question he had too. Is device search the only place to see tags?
So at the moment, you can see them via the CLI tools. You can get them via the command line in automations. You can see them in the device search here, or when you view a device, they're just shown underneath the device name up at the top here.
Awesome. Going back to the calls, does set Ninja tag created if it doesn't exist?
No, so that was what I was coming back to earlier when I was talking about the creation. Like we were thinking about, do we allow them to be created via command line, but we wanted to have more options around them in the future to be able to make them more powerful, configuring like additional settings on them, things like permissions. So we wanted to keep it that you need to create them in the admin section or via the API, at least for now.
Yeah, and I mean, this goes into what you're talking about, bringing in automations into it, leveraging them in that. Chris is just thinking about the template library.
Yep, absolutely. I think Mark and the out-of-box team have been looking into how to use them already. So yeah, I think we probably will end up having them inside the template library shortly.
Look at all these great questions. Carson asked if these commands for reading and setting the tags can be found in the dojo.
Yes, I know. It got missed. I have been pestering the documentation team for like the last week to try and get it in there. If you need the documentation, I'll go put it in the documentation channel inside Discord. Let me go drop that in there now. So yeah, it's in Discord under the documentation channel. The commands are all in there now. It should be in the dojo shortly.
Awesome. I will provide some extra squeaking to that wheel. Okay, so let's see. Life at terminal velocity, a little late, but you're here. That's what matters. Okay, so then David asks, can tags be used in policies as well?
You can use, so today you could create a script which basically says check tag, takes an input variable of whatever tag name you want, and then use that with compound conditions to do like a script check, say, does it have this tag with this script, and then run another script. We're working on adding them to compound conditions. I'm not sure when that's going to be. And then we have much more plans of doing like targeting with policy using tags in the future as well.
And then David has another question.
Define found, searching exists but can't be located. I'm not 100% sure on what that means.
Yeah, if you could expound a little bit, David. But yeah, well, Luke, putting these all together, I mean, it sounds like the way that you're thinking about it is definitely there's the release now, and it's really laying foundations for additional things in the future.
Absolutely. So yeah, this
Yeah,
was all
anything else
about
you want to
just
say
getting
about
the
that?
foundations for it in. Yeah, like this was just the first release of tags. We tried to get enough value in there, giving the API, giving CLI options, so at least power users will be able to make full use of them now. The absolute plan of them is to roll them out throughout the platform, make them easier to use, make them targetable, and yeah, just expand them from what they are today.
David did clarify, and it was a good one, David. It was dig for the dojo. It could exist, but search is not. Yeah. One day we are going to address this.
We do all moan about it on a regular basis. Trust me.
It's true. It's true. All right. Well, I mean, Luke, you were flying through stuff. Want to give folks a chance. Anyone who's coming in late, if you're worried about missing things, just to clarify or confirm, once the stream ends, you'll be able to go right back to it, and it'll be under the live section of our YouTube, and you'll be able to go back and watch the beginning too. And if you have team members that you want to pass this along to, they can check it out as well. But with that, take advantage of your time. You got Luke here. He's captive for another few minutes. If you want to ask him any questions about what he's just showed you, anything else that questions you had about the roadmap or anything like that. Luke, was there anything else that you wanted to show, or did we cover everything?
I can talk about what we've got coming in 9.0 if you like.
Oh, yes. All right, sweet.
Cool. So yeah, got a few cool things coming. We got first one is the ability to, this should just be finished off now. I just need to move it up once I've got final confirmation. But in apps and services documents, you're going to be able to go into individual fields and say, I want to see this in the table view. So it means when you're looking at those apps and services documents, you can really build up like your custom grid of what columns you want to see, what information, meaning you don't have to click into every single one to actually go and find any details you want when working with apps and services documents. What's David asked? Oh, awesome. Cool. So yeah, so the next thing we've done is we're kind of taking the sledgehammer to custom fields as they are today. They're going to get rid of the differentiation between global and role and introduce tabs. So let me bring up this GIF to show you. I can't show you in an environment right at this moment. But yeah, we're introducing the concept of tabs now. So you're going to be able to go in at any level in your hierarchy, add new tabs, move fields over to those tabs and just organize them. So now when you start viewing documents, you can just have a Microsoft 365 tab for like your SIP integration. You can have a settings tab, just means instead of having one massive long list of custom fields, you can really start to group them and give you the context that you want to work in at that point in time. So yeah, when you view advice, yeah, just be able to switch to them, see only those ones, edit only those ones for the specific tab, and just make life easier. So to do this, we've basically removed global and role fields. As I said, you can now just add in any fields at any level, turn on inheritance if you want for role fields. Everything today works exactly the same from like the automation side, from the API side. Everything that was a global field gets migrated to the top level managed device level. So it will be across everything. So yeah, we'll just do a migration. Nothing changes, nothing breaks from how things work today. It just makes it easier to configure, to work with, and gives you a load more power is the plan. The other part of that is we've also added in end user custom fields. So they're going to be part of the inheritance structure now. So it will go organization to location to end user to device. Devices will look at that end user value when you've got inheritance enabled, or when you've got an end user assigned to a device, it will look at the assigned end user. Again, you can use tabs for them and set them via the API. And then the last thing that we're adding is, this is going to be a new product, which is kind of tied with documentation, which is the first early access release of unmanaged devices. So we're going to go straight to early access with this. But it starts letting you build up devices made entirely of custom fields, create them, see them in your dashboard, import them via CSV, import them via the API. And yeah, just really start letting you track anything you want inside Ninja rather than just the laptops and things you've got an agent installed on.
Amazing. And so early access, do you want to talk a little bit about what that means for folks who aren't familiar?
So it means it's a beta, but it means we're going to open it up so account managers can enable it for you. So if you want to try it out, you just need to reach out to your account manager after 9.0 comes out, and they'll be able to turn it on for you.
Perfect. Awesome. Very cool. I love that you're giving the sneak peeks for things coming in 9.0, and I'm surprised people haven't asked, but date wise,
End of Q2 is the current target. End of Q2, start of Q3.
Okay. Yes, I mean, it'll be here before we know it. Very cool to see all this. One comment that David brought up that makes me wonder about the device tags in particular. Very cool. There's so much to do. Potentially might be some paralysis around what to do first. I wonder, David, like, do you think this is something where, we had some recent streams around Systray, and it's one of those things where people showing what they're doing and sharing ideas can maybe help with that. It certainly gives you other things to consider. So maybe it doesn't help with the decision paralysis, but it gives you concrete examples. And I'm wondering if we do something like that similarly. So we could create a channel in Discord, maybe. We have so many channels, but we can create another one if people thought that was a good idea. Or just facilitate, hey, here's a couple other things. Luke, maybe we create some like quick videos or other posts that kind of collect some ideas that how people can leverage that.
Yeah. No, like tags today, the most valuable thing of tags is really just using them in your device searches. Be able to build up a group, filter on things on device searches. So like we could easily make a VIP group here. Contains VIP device, apply that. And then with groups as well, once they're saved, you can then favorite them as well. So, or apparently already have that one. Let's call it VIP device. So once they're saved, you can add them to favorites. So then you just got a quick link to always be able to hop straight to that kind of device. So yeah.
All right, excellent. Well, Luke, thank you so much for sharing, hopping on here, being generous with your time. Thanks everybody for hopping in. Day 3, halfway through 8.0 week, hump day. Luke's gonna be back, and he's gonna be talking about PSA. And so it's gonna be the same time, I believe, tomorrow, 11:30 Eastern, whatever time that means for all of you around the world. And come back, check it out. Luke will be talking all about some PSA changes and updates, and also sharing a little bit about the vision of where those things are going. Robert, squeaking in with one final question, Luke, if you don't mind.
Could use the tags to set a help tag on a device that a user can enable or disable from the Systray and alerts. Yeah, so you could create an automation to add a help tag to a device, publish that in the end user Systray. Make sure it runs a system, because only system can interact with tags. But yeah, you'd be able to do it that way.
Very cool. Yeah, Robert, thanks for sharing that. Yeah, great. Well, guys, we'll follow up. If that you think that's a good idea, us sharing some additional, just small use cases and giving you a place where you can discuss those, we can absolutely do that. But in the meantime, yes, life at terminal velocity is looking forward to tomorrow, as am I. So, Luke, we'll see you then.
Awesome. Catch you later.
Take care, everybody. Happy April Fool.